Hi, it is Sarah with Yoga for Classrooms, and I am here today to share some ideas of how to bring some focus into the new year. At Yoga for Classrooms, we're all about implementing mindful moments in our classrooms and throughout our schools. But we want to make sure we're implementing those mindful moments with intentionality, meaning that we want to make sure and use different techniques and different postures and different breathing activities that are really intentional based on the student's need. And we know that in the new year, focus will be something that we need to help our students with, really helping them to focus in on what we're learning about and what we're doing in the class. And mindful moments are a perfect way to increase that focus so that learning can occur. A couple of our favorite activities for focus are some breathing activities. So to get us started, I want to share two different breathing techniques from our Let's Breathe cards that are great for focus. The first is our countdown to calm. If you're not familiar with countdown to calm, well, it's what it sounds like. It allows students to use their hands as a visual as they count down from 5 to 0 while they're taking those deep breaths. And it really allows them to not only calm their body, but really focus their attention on what they need to focus on. It's a centering breathing technique. It's also really good for releasing frustration. If you're sensing that your students are becoming irritated or frustrated, countdown to calm's a great one. And it really helps really focus us in because it involves that counting on our fingers, both up to 5 and then back downward to 5. So it adds that extra layer of focus because they're having to both take the breath and do the countdown and the count up. So it's a great activity to focus in, get ready for the next activity, and then also has those added benefits of releasing some frustration or some tension, even alleviating anxiety. This is a great one for that. So lots of good perks from our countdown to calm and a great focusing breath. Another great focusing breath is our flying bird breath. This is one of my personal favorites because it involves some movement. And so often when we are teaching our students breathing techniques, we're teaching the real basic, in through your nose, out through your mouth, which is a valuable breath, or a balloon breath, or some of those breathing techniques that are really calming and really centering. But flying bird breath helps us to increase our focus because it has some movement involved. Now, it's not too much movement, so it's still a calming breath. Some of our breaths are energizing breaths, and this isn't one of those. This one should still be relatively calming for your students, but it really helps with focusing because, again, they're not only focusing on their breath, but they're also adding that hand movement that really helps them to focus in on their breath and the movements associated with the breath. Highly recommend flying bird breath. Seems to always be a favorite for students of all ages. Another good focusing activity is our King Dancer mindful moment. This comes from our Stand Strong cards. All of our red cards mean that they can be done right next to a desk, but standing. So they don't take up a lot of room like some traditional yoga, but they do allow the student to get up out of their desk and get some of that movement in that is so often needed, especially as we transition back from breaks and things of that nature. So this is a good focusing activity because it's a balance posture, and most of our balance postures require that inward focus in order to do them successfully. So King Dancer has that balance element, and it really helps us to increase our focus. As you can see in the image, this requires that we balance on that one foot. We always want to do it on both sides, so it gives them opportunities to see that we might feel more balanced and more focused on one side than the other, and that's okay. That's why we continue to practice and strengthen that ability to be stable, to be focused, and to be balanced. So King Dancer, another great one. Quick mindful moment, but a great way to really focus in before transitioning to your next activity. Lastly, for a focus activity is one of our activities that uses our chime. And this is on our mindful meditations card. And our mindful meditations card is unique because it gives lots of ideas of different ways to focus in, to calm our body, to center, to restore, and lots of different activities. But the mindful meditation I want to share today that is really good for focus is called our chime listening. So chime listening is an activity that asks students to listen to the chime. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to listen really, really carefully. And then they're going to slowly raise their hand in the air when they no longer hear the sound. So as you can imagine, this is a good focusing activity because they're going to get kind of competitive with each other and really want to listen. And if you're familiar with the chime, it starts louder, but then it gets quieter and quieter, but it's still making noise. And then it stops. And students are listening for that chime to end to raise their hand. This is one of my favorite activities to do before beginning a lesson because it brings us all together, especially if we've been doing something, transitioning from a more active activity or assignment or an active part of the day like PE or recess, then this gets us really focused and ready to start our assignment. Usually I like to do it about 3 to 5 times. Doesn't take long, but really gets them listening. And you can do it in different ways. Like I can do a real short chime. Doesn't go for long. Or you can hit it a little harder and it will make that noise for longer. So you can kind of mix it up, really making sure that your students are focused and listening to that chime and then ready to transition to the next activity. So those are some of our recommendations for increasing that focus in the classroom when we're having a hard time focusing or when we're transitioning back from things like a long winter break, starting the new year right. So again, couple breathing techniques that are great for focus: countdown to calm and flying bird breath. That king dancer is an excellent focusing posture, and then that chime listening that comes from our mindful meditations. Remember, you can get all of our Yoga for Classrooms activity cards on our website. These are our mini version, but we also have our full-size version available there, whatever is convenient for you. And our focus chime is also available there as well. I hope you enjoy, and I hope this brings some excellent ideas to increase focus in your classroom this new year. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.